Have you seen the Travis Scott theory with the picture that he posted?
What picture you post?
Oh my god, here, I'll show you. It's him on the ground.
What's he doing, bro?
Naked with only a pillow covering his body.
I get those goosebumps every time.
Guess who's in the top corner though? And we always talk about
that's
her. Michelle Lamy.
Yeah, that's the wife of Rick Owens. Yeah, Rick Owens' wife.
So that's why it's like
The witch.
Yes, exactly. The whole conspiracy is that she's a witch, right? And everybody's saying that, oh, what are these like little orbs flying around the picture? Did Travis like sell his soul again?
Wait, why is it so straight too?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But
wait, what is the picture for?
I don't know. It was like leaked on
caption?
No, it was just leaked on the Instagram.
Let me see this AI.
Trust that is not AI. That's literally Travis Scott
Why
on
the
the
f is he?
fam. I don't know.
What do you think it is?
Oh, it's a ritual, 100%. Because right after Michelle Lamy in an interview, she's like, I'm not an artist like you are. You are an artist in the current sense of the world. I'm more like a rhizome. People see my iconic teeth and are drawn to me. I'm always searching for new energy, new beginnings. Because I seen a video too, Travis Scott's first ever world tour performance.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, you're gonna do great. You're gonna explode. We got you.
So we are going to explode and we are going to get you. Okay.
All right, for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm like,
We
yo,
got you is crazy.
We got you. I'm like, what the
Well, what is she doing?
The Eucharistic miracle of Buenos Aires, August 18th, 1996, in this one church in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Someone found the consecrated host or communion, like the bread part, and the way to dispose of that, because it's been blessed, took it and he placed it in a cup of water basically and put it back into the tabernacle. But then on August 26th, 30 days later, he opened it up and what he saw was the consecrated host, the bread, looked like it had blood on it and it had not dissolved at all. And he's like, what in the world? And so he brought in Jorge, who is Pope Francis. He showed him on September 6th. Pope Francis was basically like, take pictures of it, document it, because this is crazy, because it wasn't dissolving. If anything, it was actually looking like it was growing and like turning into flesh. Oh my gosh. So they sent it to this guy, Dr. Frederick in New York, and he examined the sample and concluded that it was human heart muscle tissue. He ran the blood type, and the blood type, it was a AB blood. What is a crazy coincidence is AB blood is also the same blood type that was found in the Shroud of Turin.
Shut up right now.
It's not been disproven ever, but the Vatican has also never made an official statement on it.
That's so scary. I literally was taking communion yesterday. That just runs through my mind of the Eucharist and all that stuff, and that like it actually turning into flesh and like that stuff like that. Like, don't love that. It's just something like there's something supernatural about it, and that takes it to a whole other level.
I don't like gay people. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water.
This was a meme the whole time. They're actually putting stuff in the water that were turning the frogs gay. Well, I mean, it turned 4 of them.
What do you think about the work your mom does?
What does she do?
Y'all see her eating an onion, right?
I'm so hungry. I can eat a kid right now. Alexa.
I'm so hungry. I could kill everybody.
Oh.
Hey, when I go to Costco, I get the hot dog.
Hey, when I go to Costco, I get the double chunk chocolate cookie.
It's the Costco fellas.
You know what's crazy about having these things in my eyes, right? It lets you see how the eyes actually work. Like, your eyes don't move very smoothly. Like, when I move my head, you can kind of see how my eyes try to track what I'm looking at. Right? But sometimes you can move your eyes smoothly if it's following something. So if I hold my finger out and I move my finger, you can see my eyes moving smoothly. But if I try to just move my eyes like that, you can't do it smoothly. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I think this whole video is crazy. Like, what? Why do you have those on your eyes? Oh my god, dude. There's a gift here that looks even worse. Let me see if I can show it. There. Look at that.
Go look at your paycheck. It's not at least 100 grand a month. You got work to do.
Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Apparently, I have some work to do.
one of the most extraordinary characters I've ever met.
Look at L. Ron Hubbard. See how they cross the street just to go around me. Look at you. They just got off the bus. Look at them. Tell me this isn't a cult. Where's Danny Matt and where's Shelly? Has anyone seen Shelly? Not a single person has seen Shelly. Not a single person has seen Shelly. Again? Mind your business. Huh? Mind your business. What is your problem again? Mind your business. I'm talking. You know what my problem is? Scientologists, and where's Shelly at? Where's Shelly? What was that? Where's Shelly at? What was that? Where's Shelly? I don't know what you're talking about. Look at the Sea York weirdos. Look at the side. Get out of my way. Don't you get in my face. Don't you get in my face. You touch me, I have a right to defend myself, and I sure as fuck will. Look at all the Sea York weirdos. Look at them. All right. Look at them. Look at all these cult members. What are your families? Every one of your families are embarrassed of you. Don't push them into me. I can walk down the street. You don't own this fucking street. Good idea. You cannot let the block on the sidewalk too, Don't touch me again. Don't touch me again. All right. Don't touch me again. What, are you gonna push me or something? Face.
They are crossing the street kind of weird though. Look at them. They're kind of like in sync, but like in slow motion at the same time. What? Dude, $27,000. This jacket's worth more than my car. I always notice that like whenever they put out a line of clothing, it's always like stupid expensive and just looks so demonic or ridiculous. And it seems like they're clearly going for a certain crowd, because I mean, who would really be able to afford something like this other than the wealthy or elite? I don't even think I'd be comfortable putting that on. It looks weird.
Hitler said even in his death he will start World War III. One of his soldiers asked how. Hitler replied, "The day mankind finds out what I was trying to defend this nation from, then that's the day World War III will start. For on that day mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Jews. For if Americans win the war, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews, and they will try to conquer God." That's accurate. That's exactly what happened.
It's going to attack America and China, taking out both superpowers at the same time. 6/19. Oh my God. June 19th. That's tomorrow. Junio 19.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with the game Call of Duty Black Ops 2, but they're basically predicting everything that's basically going on right now, from the drone warfare to basically damn near to a T to what's going on right now. And
He's triggered to play upon my assassination. My console crashed. What do you got? Can you get in?
Raul Menendez is transmitting a live webcast. He's on right now.
Opulence is sinful, and we all pay for it. As but more.
He's ready to strike New York. Let's stop it. What the fuck?
Your war machine, Tom.
He self-destructed the drones.
Your military.
Why?
Is crippled.
Murder me. Cordestier, you know how to proceed.
Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate it.
Did you all record that after you scurried like rats out of your shelters? Wallahi.
Like, this is the stuff that they're doing. How can you feel bad when it's happening to them? Right? Or is that kind of like messed up? Wow. Apparently Switzerland is the only country that can literally house their whole population in their bunkers.
The reason they teach you to like put your head down in a crash and stuff like that is to make, because if you crash headfirst in an airplane, not only are you for sure gonna die, but just to make sure, like if you're in that position, your spine would shoot through your fucking head. Like it would kill you instantly, right? So the theory is that they have you get in that position to make sure you die. Because the lawsuit, if you survive a commercial plane crash, is like ridiculous.
That's a wild.
It makes sense to me. I get everything's run by money, dude. The whole operation is all just money.
I mean, it don't sound like too crazy. Bro, things just keep getting better and better. Not actually, but you know what I mean.
World War III cannot happen. In the same way that World Wars I and II were global superpowers fighting each other with as much weaponry and manpower that they had, that will not happen because of the existence of nuclear weapons that would guarantee mutually assured destruction. Because if it does, those huge powers will not have a world to rule over. They will burn it to the ground. Do you know what an H-bomb is? It is 1,000 times more powerful than an atomic bomb. And by the way, the atomic bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki killed 200,000 people just in a matter of a few weeks. And that doesn't include those who died of burns or radiation poisoning 5, 10, 20 years later. The point I'm making here is the United States will do what it always does, and it will support proxy wars. So it's going to continue to discreetly give money and weaponry to Israel or to other countries around the world to fight their fights locally. Unless the United States is attacked, we will not be going into a massive full-blown World War III. And a lot of experts agree. There's a lot of panic, and I wanted to make this video so that people know a little bit better about what's going on.
I mean, I don't know. We hear about they got hella bunkers that are damn near cities underground, so...
Okay, someone's getting executed. North Korea just tried to launch their brand new 5,000-ton warship, which is meant to be the pride and joy of its navy. But instead of a spectacular launch, the ship capsized halfway through the reveal right in front of Kim Jong-un. They tried sliding the ship into the water, but it got caught under its own weight and started sinking. And this whole thing was being broadcasted to the entire world. So he got so embarrassed and said this was a criminal act by his naval engineers and they would be punished. In other words, $500 million sank underwater in front of the dictator for the entire world to see.
Bad day for North Korea's Navy, I guess.
And the scary thing is, we don't even really know what the Chinese have. Have you ever seen those videos of Chinese cars? For $25,000, a Chinese car is like 1,000,000 times better than a $300,000 car in the West, and it does everything perfect, drive underwater. You will not believe how advanced their shit is. The West doesn't let them come here because VW, BMW, Mercedes, we have business like that. I have a Rimac Navara, which is the fastest car in the world. It's an electric car. There is a car out of China. It is faster, and it costs 300 grand. My Navara is 400 euros. Bro, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, we're completely different from China. China is like well-focused and determined, and we're transgenders. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, that's literally how it is.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules state that they have to tell us what they're doing. Therefore, if we allow it to happen, we have consented to tyranny, we have consented to enslavement. Now, if you get into the secret history of the cabal, Queen Elizabeth's royal astrologer, a man named John Dee, who is the prototype of the wizard with the long beard, the hat, and what he did was to rediscover, through these ancient documents that were in the Vatican, the technology of how to access what they considered to be spiritual beings that were useful to them, but what we would consider to be demonic or evil beings. These beings need to be accessed through a very complex set of rituals and ceremonies. You cannot just ask for them to show up. You have to follow very elaborate and specific protocols. So John Dee rediscovered the technology of how to draw the magic circles, how to say the right incantations, how to actually do black magic on a governmental level. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic.
Yeah, well, this really isn't a surprise anymore. We've seen who Kash Patel's prioritizing. Meteor, nuke, missile, pick your poison. Drones, UFOs, UAPs. It damn near could be anything at this point.
Breaking news, the United States has declined Israel's offer to join the war. Yesterday, the Israelis sent the first official offer to the United States asking them to fully enter the war against Iran. President Trump's response? No new wars for Israel. But this isn't the end. There is a catch to this. The United States will continue to operate in air bases in Iraq and continue shooting down Iranian ballistic missiles heading to Israel. What the United States said they will not do and will never do is attack Iran. Also, Pakistan has vowed if the United States entered the war, Pakistan would then fully enter the war. President Trump is sending a clear message to Israel. You started this, you're going to finish it. Though we will continue to shoot down ballistic missiles over the region, other countries are doing this as well. Syria is shooting them down. Jordan has fighter jets in the air shooting them down. The Saudis are shooting them down. Iraq shooting them down. And the United States will join these other Arab countries in protecting their airspace. And make sure to follow me for the newest updates on this conflict.
A lot of people wondered if dinosaurs existed when mankind existed. Well, in my opinion, here's the evidence. You can see this looks almost like a stegosaurus.
Yeah.
You can see with the meat on its bones, which means whoever made this knew what it looked like, okay? One thing I found from a lot of these ancient cultures, they always draw what they saw or what they knew. Nobody just said, one day I'm gonna have a fantasy of making a dinosaur.
Yes.
So, even if they saw the bones, how would they get the structure right with this kind of muscle and everything else? Yeah. Because they probably saw it. And you can find dinosaurs at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey on the stone columns. And a lot of different other places around the world, you'll find ancient sites with depictions of dinosaurs exactly how they looked in ancient times. Which means that 65 million years ago, yes, something probably happened and dinosaurs became almost extinct. But because other animals survived, we know that possibly some of these dinosaurs also survived. And the evidence can be found at temples like this at Tao Prom and many other places around the world.
If there's a spirit here, oh, fuck! What the hell was that?
The ghost threw a chair at me!
That was your dumbass! Stop throwing shit!
I got scared, okay?
If there's a...
Oh my god, dude. Bigfoot and Yeti just be doing anything at this point. The ghost threw a chair at me.
Yo, fam, they don't know that G-O-D is about to BRB. These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down. That's good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens. Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks. Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi, no snacks. Just kind of waiting for God to respawn me.
You know I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're looking a little sus.
I'm supposed to say that God got me pregnant? Yeah, there's no way my parents are buying this story.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry, dude. I just took a poop over there.
AI is progressively getting better and better every day, it seems. I'm 100% getting scammed in the future. Do you guys remember like a couple videos back, they were doing like scam calls with at first they were generating your loved one's voices and like playing them over like the calls and telling them like, to send you money because they're held hostage. And like people were freaking out, right? They were calling their loved ones and finding out that they weren't kidnapped. But if they were doing that with voices, think about what they're going to be doing with videos now.
The Amazon is a colossal mystery. There was a Spanish explorer who went down the Amazon River system in 1541 to 1542. He was the first European to cross the entire length of South America. He reported seeing incredible cities, millions of people, a thriving culture. And 100 years later, when other Europeans got into the Amazon, they couldn't find these cities. So they said, oh, Francisco Orellana, that was his name, made it all up. It was just a fantasy. And then in the last decade, as the clearances of the Amazon have proceeded, we've begun to see the traces of those cities. What happened was that the Spaniards brought smallpox into the Amazon. Smallpox devastated the local population because there was no immunity to it. There was a massive die-off. The cities were deserted. Within 50 years, they were completely overgrown by the jungle, and that's why they were not seen by the explorers who came in 100 years later. A city like London, which had a population of roughly 50,000 in the 16th century, there were cities of that size all over the Amazon, and a possible total population of the Amazon that exceeded 20 million people.
If things like this were true, unless it was just regular ass people in these civilizations, they would tell us about it and there would probably be links to it online, right? But if they were at more advanced civilizations and there was like more there than what we're expecting, then clearly they're not going to tell us about it. They're going to keep it archived or blocked off, militarized, secured, whatever the case may be.
So I was on a work trip in Miami and I ran into this man who was also on a work retreat for the work that he does. And we started talking and eventually he tells me he works for the DEA. And I'm super interested and intrigued after that. And I asked him, you know, we talked for a minute, but I have to go. And before I leave, I ask him, what is the wildest thing about working for the DEA? And he like laughs, kind of chuckles. And then he looks at me like very seriously, like deciding if I could handle the answer. And I'm like, you know, what is it? And he goes, you would not believe how many secret societies and organizations there are. And I like laugh a little bit and I'm like the Illuminati. And he goes, from the Illuminati all the way down to the post office. And I was like, the post office? And that really stuck with me because when you think about the DEA, you think about drug busts, the cartel, surveillance. But the deeper you go into any federal agency, the more you realize it stops being about the job and starts being more about the network. Power isn't always loud. It moves through the shadows, through shared symbols, through people that know how to speak the right language in the right rooms. The DEA's official mission is to enforce drug laws, but ask anyone who works close to the core and you start seeing things that don't show up in FAOI requests. And then you start realizing power isn't just in the White House or at the Pentagon. It's scattered quietly in 100 little places you'd never even think of. Places like the DEA and places like the post office. And maybe that's the point, because you cannot investigate a structure that's invisible.
So I was rocking with everything she was saying, and then she mentioned the post office, and I was kind of like, what? And then that kind of triggered the Men in Black movie. Did you guys see that part where, like, that one guy with the arm? Well, you guys seen Men in Black, I assume. Like, the whole post office was basically an alien community. So this is kind of some cool food for thought. The same poster of this video said, the post office is the only real governance here in America. Postmaster General has more power than the president.
There's a really famous mystery called the Dyatlov Pass. It's about these 9 really experienced hikers in the 50s. They set off on this journey and they reached the first checkpoint, but they didn't make it to the second checkpoint. And there was a big search that goes out to make sure they're okay. The army gets involved and they go and follow the route to find the hikers. And they come across these prints in the snow that led down the mountain. And some of the prints were bare feet. Some had one shoe and one barefoot. And it's all 9 of the hikers. And they find 3 of the hikers, and they're all deceased. And there's one who's naked. There's one who's up in one of the trees, and there's these deep gouges on the tree as if some animal had been scratching at this tree. There's more footprints that lead away from those 3, and the footprints lead where the other 6 hikers were, and they're all deceased as well. And the women were wearing men's clothing and vice versa. Some of their clothes had trace levels of radiation, and some of them had parts of their face removed, it looked like. Lips, nose, ears, it almost looked like surgical precision removal. There was a person in there who their chest had basically been caved in, but there's no sign of anything that could have done this damage. And suddenly the Soviet government says, we're gonna shut this investigation down. All we know is that the 9 hikers who died from an unknown, unnatural force. Sealed.
With that thought process, if you see how interesting and crazy a case sounds and it's like unknown, you don't just abandon it. You either know who's part of it or you know something about it to where you're like, all right, well, we know who did it and we know already, so we're just gonna like pretty much cancel the search, basically. Like, imagine these were your family members, God forbid, but these were your family members. You go out, find out all this mysterious shit's going on and all this crazy stuff. They're wearing each other's clothes, precision cutting, chest caved in, all that stuff. And it's all just crazy, right? It's all just one big mystery, and you're like, I don't know what could have done this. Oh well, time to go home.
We've mapped only 26% of the world's sea floor, yet every time we look, we find something that shouldn't be there. This underwater structure was discovered by a couple of treasure hunters in 2011 called Ocean X, who were exploring the North Baltic Sea in search of high-value shipwrecks, when their sonar picked up a massive circular object lying deep on the sea floor, which did not resemble any recognizable ocean craft or known geological feature. This was the Baltic Sea anomaly. They investigated the sonar scans back on land and noticed clear lines, right angles, and striations all over the structure, which almost looked like rooms and hallways. Beside it was a 1,000-foot long flattened area in the sand, almost like the object crashed and slid into its current spot. Whatever this was, it needed another look. Using their funds from selling artifacts in previous shipwrecks, along with a few investors and sponsors, they upgraded their equipment and returned back to the site a year later. But this time, when they deployed their advanced sensors and 3D scanning equipment anywhere near the anomaly, they would lose signal. Like something was intentionally interfering with their technology. Even their satellite phones and electrical equipment would unexplainably cut out and wouldn't turn back on until they got further away from the anomaly. They drop a remote sub into the water to get close-up photos of the structure and more accurate measurements of it, but this mini sub would also cut in and out and constantly lose signal on its way down. Something was messing with them. With their funds running short, storms approaching, and struggles with keeping a stable connection, things weren't looking so hot. But then, the mini sub's viewing monitor comes back online and they see it. 300 feet below the surface and about 200 feet across, they get their first close-up images of the Baltic Sea anomaly. They see flat edges that look like they were made from concrete, perfectly round holes like someone drilled directly into its surface, and several square cutouts all over it. There was absolutely nothing here that suggested this was a natural formation. Strangely too, while the temperature of the sea remained fairly normal, directly above the anomaly, the water was below freezing, which shouldn't even be possible, but it's what their readings were telling them. But this wasn't enough for them. They wanted to get right up in there, so they dove down themselves to check it out firsthand. Seeing it in person, they insisted it must be man-made, or maybe even non-human made. And oddly, some parts of it would turn black when they touched it. There were even areas that looked like stairs leading from one level of the structure to another, and a domed compartment on top that stuck out from the main body. Around it, they found other objects like perfectly carved rectangular stone blocks and monoliths, which were buried deep underground, potentially even sitting on top of tunnels and passages beneath the sea floor. They chip off a few pieces of the structure with hammers and chisels and send the samples to a lab for further study, which they find out was just rock. Volcanic rock, but not metal, even though there aren't any volcanoes nearby, suggesting this object may still not have been naturally carved. The anomaly did have quite an interesting look to it, leading some to believe that it was non-human in nature, remnants of an old alien craft that crashed long ago. But now it's looking like it might be something else, perhaps remains of a lost advanced civilization, as I doubt aliens would use stone to build spaceships, but I could be wrong. Some theories theories even claiming it's a 14,000-year-old monument built by the Atlanteans, who got, let me hear you say it, swallowed by the sea. Either way, like clockwork, the media slandered Ocean X, calling them con artists, as they usually do with any finds like these. While experts insisted the volcanic rock was pushed into place on the seafloor by a glacier from long ago, that just happened to have this totally unnatural shape, and also jams radar and satellite equipment when anyone got close to it, you know, just like volcanic rock usually does. Ocean X tried to raise funding to go back and explore it some more, but no one wanted to invest in it anymore after the media labeled it a scam. But they still managed to scrape up some funds and go back a few years later, although at a much smaller scale and only with their remote mini-sub. This time, they claimed to have found writing, like hieroglyphics on the side of one of the stones in the anomaly, which honestly, given their non-existent budget for this expedition, it's a little hard to tell from this footage, but it's definitely still something that's worth exploring further. And that's the problem with a lot of these archaeological finds that defy conventional history. They don't fit into our current paradigm of what we know, so experts sneer and debunk them with a pretentious attitude, even attacking and labeling it dangerous information. Mainstream media outlets have no choice but to save face and agree with the experts, or else get slandered and potentially lose their jobs. And of course, the internet misinformation warriors hop on the bandwagon and vehemently insult anyone who supports these fringe ideas. The ones who discover these structures and artifacts, or even people who just talk about them with an open mind, are mocked and called con artists, liars, and frauds, causing investors and governments to pull funding and sweep these discoveries under the rug. Listen, don't just blindly believe discoveries like this are something more just because I talk about it, but also don't blindly believe the inflated egos of the experts or the debunkers who are too afraid of getting ridiculed by others for considering alternative theories. Maybe the more people that have the courage to stand up for and discuss alternate, eye-opening theories like these, the more support we'll get for further investigation into them, and the closer we'll get to the truth of who was here before us and how old our civilization really is.
I don't know why more people aren't doing this, though. I reckon there's like crazy things under that water, or just spread around throughout the world underwater. Oh, also, the biggest thing about this clip that kind of intrigued me was the fact that they was like getting their equipment jammed every time they were getting closer to it, and how the water temperature would be absolutely freezing cold just above it. Those two things alone were like still intriguing me and make me think maybe it's more than just stone. Maybe there's something under the stone. Because like, I mean, if it's been down there for some time, it's probably got to be, how do you say? I don't want to say petrified, but I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to cut the audio. I really don't want to have to cut this video out. Let me see. Maybe it's not copyrighted. Doesn't it? Yup. Did I see laserfish? So that's all just like a void. Nothing's really living in it, I guess. Keep in mind, this is 5%. I don't even need to watch the whole clip to understand why they stopped already. This kind of reminds me of space, though. You see how dark it is with the little white spots? The height of Mount Everest. $10,000 meters is treacherous.
You mentioned people. Is that who you think is behind most of these things, like the media?
I'm not trying to say it to be anti-Semitic, but the facts are the media is owned by Zionists, and so there's a certain just like if all the media was owned by Christians or all the media was owned by Muslims, you're going to have a filter of what they want you to see in here. So that's all. Mostly. It's an elite group, and it's all really the same beliefs. So
I love this woman, but her daughter low-key pissed me off. The way she kept like straying away, it was kind of like embarrassed of her almost. Like somebody said, give her a podcast.
Let's try watermelon with honey.
That sounds good, low-key. I never had that. Ooh, that sounded juicy. How it taste? How it? It's that good.
What the fuck?
It's that your eyeballs almost busted out of your head. It was that good. Nigga, why did you eat the shell, nigga? What did you?
Go ahead, Clara.
I can't.
Keep going.
I can't do it. I might let go. It's too heavy.
Just let go.
Are you sure?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Clara.
Welcome back to Jake GTV News. Tonight we go live with the people controlling our media and banks. Just kidding. That's anti-Semitic. Back to you, Steinberg.
People say we control the world. What they don't realize is we actually do.
Well, there you have it. Noticing is antiseptic, folks. Back to you, John.
Crazy conspiracy theorists. They'll believe anything these days, right?
If only JFK kissed the wall, he'd still be here.
Don't get us canceled now. Let's see what's going on in Hollywood.
So what's the goal behind this film? To push Satan, normalize gender confusion, and celebrate sin. The younger they learn, the better. Stunning and brave. Back to you, Erica.
Stuff, Shapiro-Stein. My executive producers just told me to share the real reason for society's downfall. Take a look at this.
This is the real problem. Too much joy, too much tradition. We'll fix that, Heb. One pride flag and fractured home at a time.
Well, you folks sure know how to dance, almost like you knew the towers would fall. Oops. I'm probably fired for that one. Tell them the rest, Vanessa.
What's sad is this is probably the closest we'll get to real media.
Marrying into all the positions of power. Here's an interesting list, starting with Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, who married Jared Kushner of Israeli roots. Bill and Hillary Clinton's daughter, Chelsea Clinton, married Mark Mezvinsky of Israeli roots. Back in the day, kings and queens married kings and queens to increase power and secure power. But marrying into power is also infiltrating power and keeping that power within a small circle. Kamala Harris, her husband Doug Emhoff, is of Israeli roots. The British royal family. Prince Harry married Meghan Markle, who also has Israeli roots. Christianity and Islam are inclusive. They welcome everybody, recruit everybody, and have an open door to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or what country you're from. But others are more exclusive and only marry into power and don't advertise or recruit to anybody else. They only aim for the top. Nikki Hilton married a Rothschild, as in, yes, that Rothschilds. And now that empire will belong to them too. Kanye West's wife, Bianca. Yep, that's what she is right there. Didn't see that coming with Kanye's views. John F. Kennedy. He did not marry somebody of Israeli roots. And look what happened to him.
But you see how they try to like assign you like a special person or somebody to like keep you into, I don't know, I guess their agenda?
So why isn't anybody talking about the fact that today in Dallas, Texas, the FBI and police arrested 244 people in a child trafficking ring? You heard what I just said? In Dallas, Texas, they arrested 244 people that were child predators. And the best part about this whole thing is that they found 109 missing children. So apparently this trafficking ring has been going on for a very, very long time. But the FBI and the police are saying that this is only the beginning. They're about to start cracking down on each and every child predator. Now, of course, we know that media tries to keep these things very hush-hush because there's a lot of people involved in these things that they won't like to mention. But children go missing all over this world. all over the United States. And we need answers. And even though they found 109 children, they need to find 109 more. And after that, find 109 more. And they need to arrest more people for these crimes. And now you gotta ask yourself, if they were able to find 109 kids that were missing and arrest 244 people that had something to do with this, how many more kids are missing? How many more people need to How many more people need to be arrested? Good job, but we need more answers. Pay attention.
I don't think the people that are working to keep the Epstein files a secret are actively trying to find children. I don't know, that don't sound right to me. I mean, I guess they can be, but these are the same people that are protecting these type of people.
The Antichrist dude, Abdullah Hashem. What he's saying is terrifying. He saw all those clips of people saying he's the Antichrist, and he's like, I'm not the Antichrist. I'm the successor of Jesus Christ, the successor of Simon Peter, the true Pope. He's the founder of a Mahdi, religion of peace and light. His quote is, personally sent by Jesus Christ to deliver the end time message. He's saying that he is the messenger sent to the Abrahamic religion, so Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim. He openly calls on Christians to obey him in his divine authority. They like interviewed like some of his followers, and they've witnessed him performing miracles. Apparently he's brought people back from the dead. This one lady said that he literally made the moon disappear one time. And he's like, the Antichrist is not a man, but it is a collection of men. And he's like, the United States of America is the Antichrist.
I watched the video like of their service or something, and it was trippy. It just like really kind of messed me up. It was weird.
But all the followers wear like black beanies and like black veils and stuff. This could just be a social media thing, but also be on the lookout for them.
I wouldn't doubt if the United States is the Antichrist, because who owns the United States, bro? Look at what's going on in the United States. Look what they push out here. Look what they push onto the children out here.
We take the children of our enemy, which is the white race, and we bring them to the basements in the synagogues where we drain the blood and watch them die there. It's very similar to how we do the sacrifices that we do with the kosher butchering, and so we do that, and then we mix it with the Passover bread, and so we eat the blood of our enemies. And the bodies, we're not cannibals, so what we do is we take those, because we can make some shekels, and we give them to the slaughterhouses, and those are pounds and pounds and pounds of meat that we grind up in the sausage and the hamburger, and that's why we made those the most popular things, sausage for breakfast and hamburger for lunch. And so all the goyim out here are really eating their children. And even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's...
And what's crazier is that video came out like a decade ago. I mean, we heard that they got underground tunnels. We hear that they found mattresses down there with blood on it and all this other crazy stuff. I don't know, this one made my stomach hurt. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, let me know by leaving a thumbs up and or subscribing if you guys are new. I don't mean to be putting like a lot of these like war clips or these things that are like currently going on around the world. I like to stay away from politics or like too crazy things that get real political. But I'm just throwing a few clips in here because, I mean, it is what's going on as of yesterday and today, because today is the 20th. If you guys do want to get another video tomorrow, let's go ahead and get this video to 180 likes. And I got you guys. But as always, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So this is me right now barely finishing the video. Phone's kind of cracked, but it's about to be 3 in the morning.